All right, let's dive right in. We're looking at some really crucial material today for anyone involved with the
The
NDIS.
National Disability Insurance Scheme, yeah.
Specifically, we've been digging into a guide that tackles a challenge many participants, carers too, know all too well.
Which is?
Just how overwhelming and complicated the NDIS can feel. All the jargon, the layers.
Oh, absolutely. And that complexity, it unfortunately has real consequences.
Oh, so.
Well, the guide highlights that this feeling of being swamped, it can actually lead to a significant chunk of NDIS funding just not being used at all.
Really? How much are we talking?
They point to data suggesting over 30% of allocated funding might go completely untapped.
Wow, 30%. Just think about the possibilities locked away in that unused funding.
Exactly. It's not just numbers. It's, potential independence, connection, opportunities.
So going unrealized.
Yeah.
So, okay, our mission in this deep dive, and we're drawing directly from this guide, is to understand why that happens.
What's the root cause of this unused potential?
Right. And then, crucially, unpack the strategic approach the guide presents.
Yeah.
How you can turn your NDIS plan from this, confusing document
Into a powerful tool that actually works for you.
Yeah. Making sure every single dollar counts towards your life goals.
Precisely. And the source material offers a pretty clear path, actually, to move past that initial overwhelm and take proactive control of your plan.
Okay, so where does it start? It mentioned something called the silent mistake. What's that about?
Yeah, the silent mistake. The core issue they pinpoint is this tendency we have to kind of rely passively on the initial guidance.
You mean like from a coordinator, whatever you get told at the start?
Exactly. And look, it's completely understandable. You trust that advice when you're first navigating the system.
Sure.
But the guide argues this passivity, that's the silent mistake, because it can lead to you simply not realizing the full scope, the full breadth of what your plan actually covers.
So you might just follow the first few suggestions and kind of stop there.
You got it, leaving significant opportunities completely unexplored.
It's like only ever looking at the first page of a treasure map.
That's a great analogy. And the guide, it has this really powerful example with someone named Mariana.
Right. Mariana's story. Tell us about that.
Well, Mariana's story just perfectly illustrates this point. When she first got her plan, she was only using the funding for the essentials.
Like transport, maybe some basic help at home.
Exactly that. Transport and a bit of basic help around the house. And in her mind, that was it. That was all her NDIS plan was really for.
Okay, but something changed. She took the guide's advice, presumably.
She did. She decided to look at her whole plan, but strategically this time.
And what happened?
Well, by actively reviewing the different support categories, maybe talking it through with someone, she discovered funding she never even knew she had.
For what kind of things?
Things like social activities, building life skills, even getting support for cooking.
Wow, okay. So stuff beyond just basic needs.
Totally. And the guide describes this remarkable transformation. She used the exact same plan she had before.
No new funding.
No new funding. Just this new understanding, this new approach. And suddenly, she's cooking with support every Monday. She's joined a local walking group. She started learning how to use public transport by herself.
That's incredible. And it really hammers home the guide's central message, doesn't it?
It does.
It's not just about passively receiving a list of services.
No, not at all. The fundamental idea presented is shifting to intentionally choosing your supports and services.
Making sure they actively link back to your own goals.
Exactly. Your personal aspirations and goals, not just ticking boxes under generic support categories.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And to help you do that, the guide introduces a framework. They call it the NDIS Personal Impact Strategy.
That's right, the Personal Impact Strategy. It's built on 3 main pillars.
Okay, what are they?
First, you've got to truly know your NDIS plan inside and out, like become fluent in your own map.
Know the math. Got it.
Second,
clearly identify the real-world, meaningful goals you want to achieve in your life, what really matters to you. Okay, know the map, know your goals. And third
is about the who. Finding and working with providers who genuinely listen to you, who are committed to tailoring support to your specific goals. People who are on your team.
Right. Okay. Know the map, know your goals, find your team. So how do you actually do that? Put those pillars into practice. The guide has steps, right?
It does. A very practical 5-step method for really maximizing your plan.
Let's walk through them. Where does the guide suggest you start? Step 1.
Step 1 is powerfully called Unlock Your Hidden Map.
Okay.
It sounds simple, but it's crucial. It involves sitting down with your NDIS plan, maybe with someone you trust, like a family member or friend.
And doing a deliberate review.
Yes, you highlight everything you are currently using. And then this is the really key part. You mark the parts of the plan, the funding lines or support categories that are completely untouched.
The blank spots.
Exactly. The guide emphasizes that these untouched areas aren't dead ends. They're often where the biggest opportunities for new support and, progress actually lie.
So you're identifying the white space on the map, basically. Okay, once you've done that assessment in step 1, what's step 2?
Step 2 is about making it personal. Link your plan to real goals.
Right, connecting the map to where you want to go.
Precisely. Now that you know what's available, both the used and the unused parts, you identify, say, 3 personal goals that genuinely matter to you.
Like what? Give me an example.
Oh, it could be anything. Maybe increasing your independence at home, maybe building a more active social life, perhaps mastering a specific skill like managing your budget or cooking a meal.
Okay.
And the step then involves explicitly connecting those goals to the specific supports you highlighted back in step 1.
So drawing lines between the funding categories and your actual life aspirations.
Exactly. Seeing how the kind of bureaucratic language of the plan can directly serve what you want to achieve.
That makes sense. Moving from funding codes on a page to real-life impact. Okay. After connecting your goals to potential supports, step 3 focuses on who helps you get there.
Precisely. Step 3 is find providers who are on your team.
Right, the who part.
And the guide makes a really strong point here. Don't just accept the first provider you refer to or, settle for generic one-size-fits-all services.
Be selective.
Very. This step is about actively seeking out providers who are flexible, who show you that they truly hear your specific goals, and who are willing and able, importantly, to personalize activities and supports to fit you.
And not just offer a standard package deal.
Exactly. It's about finding partners in your journey, not just service deliverers.
That partnership aspect feels really important for trust, for effectiveness. Yeah. Okay, step 4 sounds like it's about getting organized. Plan your week like a CEO.
It absolutely is. Step 4, plan your week like a CEO. The recommendation here is to use a visual tool. Could be a calendar, a whiteboard, maybe an app on your phone.
Something to see the week laid out.
Yeah, to consciously schedule your NDIS-funded activities and supports throughout your week. But the CEO part isn't just about scheduling appointments. It's about strategic scheduling.
Strategic? How so?
Well, the guide suggests thinking about how you can combine goals within single activities, get more bang for your buck, so to speak.
Okay, give me an example.
Sure. Let's say you have transport funding for a trip to the local shops. That trip isn't just about getting groceries.
Right.
It can be a planned opportunity. Maybe you work on budgeting skills while you're there, practice navigating busy community spaces, maybe even engage in social interactions with shop staff or other people. You're hitting multiple goals with one funded activity.
Ah, that's clever. Getting multiple returns on one activity. Double dipping, but in a good way. Okay, that brings us to the final step in this method. Step 5.
Step 5 is critical. It stops this being a one-off thing you do. It's review and adjust every month.
Okay, so it's ongoing.
Absolutely. The guide strongly emphasizes that maximizing your plan isn't a set and forget deal. It's an ongoing process. So every 4 weeks or so, you should set aside some dedicated time.
To do what?
To look back at the past month. Ask yourself, honestly, which supports or activities worked really well towards my goals? Which ones maybe weren't so effective? What challenges came up?
Reflecting on what worked and what didn't.
Exactly. And based on those insights, you then make deliberate tweaks and adjustments to your plan and your schedule for the next month.
So it's like a continuous improvement cycle.
It's a continuous loop. Plan, act, reflect, refine, keep adjusting, keep moving forward.
So it's this active monthly engagement that keeps the plan alive, dynamic, and actually aligned with your evolving needs and goals.
Precisely.
It really shifts the whole perception, doesn't it?
Yeah.
From the plan being this static, maybe slightly intimidating document.
Just something else entirely. Yeah, the guide concludes this whole section by saying the NDIS plan isn't just paperwork, it's more like a doorway.
A doorway, I like that.
And understanding how to use it strategically, step by step like this, is presented as basically being given the key to unlock that door.
That is a powerful shift in perspective. It really is. This deep dive into the guide's insights, it really underscores that just taking a proactive strategic approach, you can unlock incredible potential.
Absolutely. By applying a structured method like the 5 steps we've just talked through, You can move beyond that feeling of being overwhelmed.
And potentially tap into that, 30% of unused funding?
Potentially, yes. But maybe more importantly, it's about actively finding and creating new opportunities for your own independence, for building connections, enhancing your overall well-being.
It feels like this method gives you, the listener, a really tangible way to take greater control,
Yeah.
to potentially transform your experience with your own NDIS plan, just like Mariana in the story.
That's exactly the aim. Empowerment through understanding and, crucially, action.
So here's a final thought to leave you with, drawing from this guide.
Yeah.
Given that potential for unused funding we talked about.
That 30% or more.
Yeah. Just consider this. How might dedicating just a focused hour or two each month to actively review your NDIS plan, consciously link it to your current goals, how might that reveal possibilities and supports for you that maybe you didn't even know were waiting there?
The power of the disability.